Hey allies, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is absolutely awesome on the Ally. However, there is a tweak that you need to do to take your image from blurry, as you can see on the left here, to crystal clear, as you can see on the right. If you didn't know that Final Fantasy VII has something called dynamic resolution built in, which makes it look like absolute rubbish. As we come full screen, you can see here this is the actual 1080 30 watt mode, or this is the 1080p recommended settings and 30 watt mode, and you can see just how blurry that is. Whereas if we come now to our tweaked version, you can see just how clear this is and very little FPS difference. So stick around at the end if you want to know how to fix that. Let's dive into the performance then, starting off with 720 at 15 watts. And this has a bit of a weird issue that if you change the resolution in game, it doesn't seem to take properly unless you then change the resolution on the Ally through Command Center. You can see here how clear even the 720 images with the dynamic resolution fixed. And inside in battles we're getting up to 60 frames per second, though it does still push the APU up to around 20 watts. It is extremely smooth. In battles, in instances, it definitely can push up towards 60. However, it still takes a hit in the slums, even at 720. Then the 15 watts between 30 and 60, depending on the instance, is definitely a great way to play this. And you'll be looking at the same settings between 720 and 1080, as that gives the best overall gameplay of the texture resolution on high and the shadow resolution on low, with a frame rate of 60 frames per second. So if we push this up to 1080, you'll see just how much clearer this image is. And in the slums, again, keeping the same settings, but with the 30 watt turbo mode plugged in, we still get around 40 frames per second in the slums. We do get some dips down into 30s, especially with some of the loading spikes. The loading spikes are quite bad through the slums, but once it's cached, it's much smoother. Into battle though, and in instances, we are pushing 40 to 50 frames per second with the occasional dips down, but 30 watt mode with this game at full 1080p and the dynamic resolution fixed is an absolutely gorgeous way to play this game. Although it does dip into those 30s quite regularly, I think it's still worth it. But if you can deal with the 720, then you will get maxed out 60 frames per second all of the time with that 30 watt turbo mode. So let's have a look at how to fix the dynamic resolution, as it is absolutely hideous with it on. In Windows, you want to go to Nexus Mods and find the dynamic resolution disabler. I will put a link in the description below for this. You do need a free Nexus Mods account, so make sure you create one of those in advance if you don't have one already, and then download the file from the link in the description. This will download a zip file that you won't be able to open unless you've already installed something like 7-zip on your machine, as it's a 7-zip file. So if you don't have 7-zip, just search for 7-zip. I'll put a link in the description below to the direct site as well, and make sure it's the 7-zip site, not the Softonic one, and download the 64-bit x64 link. Once you've installed 7-zip, it won't show up in the context menu immediately. So when you go back to the file that you downloaded, when you right click on this or long press, make sure you click the show more options at the bottom, and then you'll have the 7-zip context menu. You can say extract files or just extract here. You open the directory that this gives. It's a mods folder and then a pack file. You just want to drag and drop this into your Final Fantasy VII install file. So go to Steam or wherever you have the game installed from and browse your local file. And when that pops up, you want to go into End, and then Content, Packs. And then this is where you want to copy and paste that packs file in from that mods folder. Either copy and paste or just drag and drop as I did, just to show that this was going into that folder there. And that's all you need to do. Now when you start up that game, the dynamic resolution will be disabled. You'll have a much clearer image and maybe 2 or 3 frames less on the gameplay, but a much better experience overall. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be diving into Final Fantasy VII on the Ally and what your experience has been so far. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.